What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Matt, the Misfit. This is your Monday Night Raw review for November the 20th, 2023. This is one of the go-home shows for Survivor Series. It's a big week and weekend ahead for WWE. They roll into Chicago. Hopefully, they come out of Chicago alive. And all that good stuff. We got news beyond WWE that I'm going to talk about tonight as well, because they waited until after I recorded the Pilot Driver Pulse last night to break some Stardom news that I'm going to go over at the start of the show before I go into the Raw review, which I thought Raw was an excellent show, by the way. Raw had the announcement that Randy Orton is indeed the fifth man for Team Cody Rhodes in Wargames. Damage Control invaded Monday Night Raw. We had Xia Li had a breakout performance with Becky Lynch, probably Xia Li's best match in WWE. Nakamura still is talking about somebody. At this point, I don't give a crap. And all that stuff. We'll talk about that and much, much more. Hit that like button. Comment down below. That subscribe button, the youtube.com/Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Call all the social medias at Pilot Driver Pulse on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, Audible, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and Pandora. Some scheduling announcements here before I go into the Stardom news. It is Thanksgiving week, so unfortunately, there will not be a Dynamite review this week. SmackDown, SmackDown and the Survivor Series reviews will be still happening. However, there will be no Survivor Series. There will be no what the heck is that show that I was just talking about? Dynamite. Review. I'll still watch Dynamite. I'll let you guys know on the Twitter feed when I think about Dynamite, but Dynamite will not be reviewed on Thursday or on Wednesday. So that is that. Stardom. Bushiroad announced earlier this morning the big news. They announced the show for what show was it? The big show, one of their big shows coming up called the Nagawa, I think it's like a Nagawa winter show that's happening in a couple, was it December 3rd? Let's see if I can find it here. They announced 4 matches of the show. We even have the official re-announcement of the return of Utami Hayashishita and Saya Kamitani. They will be returning to the ring this on November the 28th. They will be teaming with Azumi, who will be challenging Julia. We'll talk about that in a second. The take on Suzu Suzuki, who we'll also talk about in a second. Megan Bayne and Mai Sarai, the high-speed champion. We finally have some type of confirmation and updates on the status of the World of Stardom Championship and the Gods of Stardom Tag Team titles. It was announced by Rossy Ogawa that due to the severity of the injuries between Tam Nakano and Natsupoi, those titles have been vacated due to the injuries. Therefore, new champions will be crowned for the Gods of Stardom tag titles, which will be taking place on the big winter show. That will see the people who won the Gods Tag League, Divine Kingdom, Micah and Megan Bayne. We'll talk about Micah. She's got a big couple weeks ahead of her. We'll talk about that in just a second. They will be taking on the winner of a tournament, which I don't know when this tournament is going to be taking place. I think the tournament is going to be taking place on the 28th of that show, and they will face those two teams will battle out for the Gods of Stardom tag team titles. I think this is just me. I would book Divine Kingdom versus Utami and Saya Kamitani, and I'd have Saya and Utami win the tag team titles, leaving Micah, because it was announced that there will be a mini tournament, which I thought was to crown a new champion. That's not the case. Suzu Suzuki, who won the 5-star Grand Prix, unfortunately didn't get her championship match against Nakano this past weekend because of Nakano's injury. That match has been pushed back to Dream Queendom, so she will be getting her championship match at Dream Queendom. It won't be against Tam Nakano because she is out indefinitely. So now they've announced that they're going to be doing a tournament, a 4-person tournament, mini tournament, and the winner. So it's going to be one match is going to be Mina Shirakawa versus Momo Watanabe, which I think Momo earned this spot, being rewarded for her incredible run in the 5-star, the awesome match she had with Mirai a few months back, and her making Yuzuki look like a $1 million, which Yuzuki is coming back to do some more shows. I'm looking forward to that. That's one match. The winner of that match will take on the winner of Maika versus Ami Sarai in the finals. The finals will take place in that same night. The winners of the finals match between those two matches will go on to face Suzu Suzuki at Dream Queendom for the vacant World of Stardom Championship. And I'm telling you right now, it's very much obvious at this point. The main event for Dream Queendom 3 will be Suzu Suzuki versus Maika for the World of Stardom Championship, as it should be. But that is the news coming out of Stardom. There's another news about Stardom that came out that I want to touch into. If I can find it. That the Bushi Road, not president, but creative director, sort of, put out there. If I can find it here, give me a second. Here we go. Said that Mr. Kendai said the reason for the increase in injuries at Stardom is because of the unreasonable schedule. Next year, we will not be holding big shows in the middle of their tournaments, the big tournaments like the 5-star Grand Prix, the Goddess Tag League, the other tournaments that they have, which I believe is the Cinderella tournament and what was the other tournaments they have? They have other tournaments. I'm trying to remember what they're called. I think it's just the I guess the rookie one, but they haven't done that one in many years. But the main three, the Goddess Tag League, the 5-star, and the Cinderella tournament. So now Dream Queendom will be Suzuki versus most likely Maika for the World of Stardom Championship. So that's basically the big news that came out this morning when it came to Stardom. Joking aside here, you know my feelings on the booking, handling, and the booking of Tam Nakano's run as the champion. I thought when she was healthy, I just found the reign was underwhelming. And then when she got injured, they were silent for a month and a half. Same thing with Natsupoi. Oh, at least they gave us some type of an update on Natsupoi. At least Natsupoi was doing appearances. Tam Nakano just disappeared after the Nagawa show. Now, what I think happened was I think she may have snapped her ankle on the second attempt on the violent screwdriver. And she looks like she's probably going to have surgery based on how it's been presented here. So outside of that, I do like Tam Nakano. I do like Natsupoi. So I do wish them both a speedy recovery. Get well soon. But most of this blame is on Rossy Ogawa for not taking care of his talent here. So there is that. Speaking, I mentioned Azumi on that same Nagawa show that's coming up on December 2nd. Julia will be defending her her New Japan Strong Championship against Azumi, and I hope Azumi wins the championship. So there is that. But I think the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team title match will be Divine Kingdom versus Aphrodite, or Aphrodite, or whatever you want to call them. So that is it. So happy to see Utami back in the ring. Miss seeing her in the ring. And also, Saya Kamitani is back. Rossy Ogawa. People don't get their dream match, the match that they thought was going to happen. I get the match I want, so that's a plus for me. So yeah. All right, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw show that I thought again was an excellent show, one of the best go home shows in a very long time. And I've noticed this with Triple H. Triple H has had, ever since Triple H has taken over full control of creative, since TKO took the boot to Vince and creative, you've seen the show improved. I want to give out a number here because I thought this was very interesting here. 28 women were on the show, and I'm going to name these women right now because women from SmackDown showed up because of the Wargames match. So you had the Women's World Champion from Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley. You had the WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky. You had Dakota Kai. You had Kairi Sane, Bayley, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Xia Li, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, who were on commentary, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Natalya, Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Shotzi Blackheart, Maxine Dupree, Ivy Nile, Katana Chance, Kaden Carter, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Valhalla, Nikki Cross, and the NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria. So I think that's incredible. 28 women on the show. That's 3 hours. During a 3-hour show, Triple H was able to spread out through a 3-hour show, having 28 women on the show. And there was about, how many women's matches were on the show? We had the Xia Li Becky Lynch match, and you had the 4-way. I think there may have been another. Oh, and then you had the boring match with Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez. 3 women's matches, 28 women involved in the show. What the fuck what is Tony Khan doing? Oh, that's right, not a damn thing. And you guys want Julia to go to for fucking AEW? Come on now. But the show opened with Drew McIntyre. He explains his actions of why he joined the Judgment Day for Wargames. He comes out. Boos start raining down here. McIntyre explains that he is the most upset. He's the most upset about himself. He says he's been the same person. He's been this entire time. Says that if you're a fan of his, then he doesn't need to explain himself. He says that he gave Jey Uso something that he could never give him, and tells Jey Uso that despite wanting an apology from him, he never gave anyone backstage an apology of his own. McIntyre calls Cody Rhodes a collateral damage, and questions why he should get over the bloodline, which Seth Rollins said he should just get over the bloodline for costing him the Universal Championship match at Clash at the Castle last year. Talks about all the sacrifices he's made in the 16 years he's been away from Scotland. Says that Jey Uso and his family took that away from him. Says the focus that he should be the focus of everyone, or everyone's focus or whatever. But instead, everyone is focused on whether or not he's a member of the Judgment Day. He formally declares he's not a member of the Judgment Day, but he says he'll be on their team for the men's Wargames match at Survivor Series. He says Rhea Ripley provided him with an opportunity to meet Jey in the cage. That was not supposed to rhyme. Jey's music hits. He makes his way to the ring. He tells McIntyre that he needs to let go and hops on the apron as Judgment Day comes from the other side to provide backup for McIntyre. Rollins, Sammy, and Cody make their way to the ring to even up the odds here. Before anything gets physical, Adam Pearce, Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, says that there intervenes and says there will be no fighting outside of the Wargames Advantage match. Says that if any one of you gets physical with each other, then they lose the advantage for their team. Excuse me. Tells Rollins, Zayn, and Rhodes and Jay that they need to pick a fifth member of their team by the end of the night, and says around by 9:00, he needs to know which of the two members of the team, which member of each team is gonna battle for the Wargames advantage here, which ended up being Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. We are backstage. We head to the Judgment Day's little lounge area. Priest expresses his frustrations with not being consulted about Drew McIntyre being added to the Judgment Day's War Games match. Rhea apologizes for not letting you know. Priest suggests himself as the member of the team to get the War Games advantage. Rhea tells him to wait until McIntyre arrives so they can all discuss it together. Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax happened, and Nia Jax won. Moving on. Back from break, we go back to the Judgment Day's lounge. Drew McIntyre shows up, tells Priest that he hears that he wants to be the one competing in the War Games advantage match. Rhea points out that Priest is the leader of the War Games team, and McIntyre puts his hat in the ring to be the competitor. The two start getting into a verbal exchange, but Priest backs down and offers the match to McIntyre. Rhea asks Priest if he's sure about this. Priest says he is, provides McIntyre with the opportunity to show his worth. Then we go to a video package about the women's War Games match, because it's a 4-on-4 women's War Games match. So not adding a fifth. There's no five. There's not going to be a fifth member being added to each women's War Games match. Y'all could stop that right now. Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes discussing which one of them should compete in War Games for the advantage team later on tonight. Jey Uso volunteers to step up, although Rollins is reluctant. He agrees to let him be the one. Sami addresses their fifth team member, asks Cody if SmackDown's roster is off the limits. Cody says they aren't. Zayn says he has an idea. Rollins says he has a couple ideas, and Cody himself says he's going to make a call to somebody he knows to see if he would come through. Next up, we got Becky Lynch defeating Xia Li in Xia Li's best match in WWE. Bell rings. They start locking up here. Shoulder tackles from Xia Li. Becky trips Xia up and connects her with a chop here. We have one point going to the back. Going from the break, coming back, Becky executes a jawbreaker and a pair of right hands. Xia Li then fires back with some of her own right hands. Becky was able to land several rapid fire right hands and boots to the midsection of Xia Li. Follows it up with a flying shoulder tackle and a splash in the corner. Delivers a Bexploder. Xia sends Becky crashing into the middle into the middle rope face first. Delivers a roundhouse kick to her head, but Becky then clinches her Xia into an armbar. Xia was able to escape. Becky Xia gets up on Becky's shoulders, then executes a airplane spin. Two women find themselves teetering on the top rope. Becky fires off rapid fire with right hands on Xia Li. She then hits a superplex, looks for the sets up the manhandle slam, but Xia was able to escape, dumps her out of the ring. She joins her out to the ring. Becky sends Xia crashing into the ring post face first. Becky and Xia was able to get back into the ring. They start exchanging right hands with one another. Becky plans Xia with the manhandle slam for the win. 1, 2, 3, and Becky Lynch gets the win. Fantastic showing from Xia Li. This is Xia Li's best match. I didn't think she had it. Well, I knew she kind of had this in her. See, guys, she doesn't suck. You just got to put her in the ring with the right people. As much as I love Candice LeRae wasn't the right person, and India Hartwell was definitely not the right person. Got to put her in the ring with Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair, or even though I don't like Charlotte, you can do that. Or, an Io Shirai, Kairi, and Asuka. Put her in the ring with those type of people, and you will get great matches out of Xia Li with, you know what I'm saying there. But we were not done with Becky Lynch here, because after the match, Damage Control, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Asuka, and Bayley and Kairi make their way down to the crowd. Charlotte Flair and Shotzi and Bianca blindsides them. All 8 women begin to the brawl. Security runs down to the ringside to separate both teams here. Becky, Bianca, Flair, and Shotzi end up standing tall in the middle of the ring, which probably tells me Damage Control is winning, and all that stuff here. Kairi, poor Kairi's like more and more. It's just so unserious. She's trying to make sure her hat is staying on her head. She's more concerned about that. I love her for that. Never change, Kairi. Never change. Ludwig Kaiser is backstage, tells Giovanni Vinci to stay in the back during his upcoming match with Tommaso Ciampa, joining Gargano. Kaiser and Gargano, they get ready for their match here. A fine little match. This was great. I thought this was a lot of fun here. Kaiser, Gargano gets Kaiser up on his shoulders on the apron at one point. Kaiser escapes, slides back into the ring, then catches Gargano with a strike, and looks to level him. Gargano catches him with a spear and a tope suicida on the outside, then locks in a DDT to get him back into the ring. Where was I? I was reading. There we go. Kaiser gets him up on his shoulder, into the corner, to the corner, but Gargano escapes. Not Gargano escape. Gargano actually escapes. Then a kick to the head, delivers a tornado DDT off the middle rope. Kaiser sits Kaiser up on the top turnbuckle, but Kaiser delivers a kick to the face. Kaiser then plants Gargano with a running senton as Giovanni Vinci decides to run his ass out there. Kaiser tells him to go to the back, opening the door for Gargano to hit a super kick and I believe it's the one final beat for the win, and Johnny Gargano get to win. So nice to see Johnny Gargano picking up some wins here. Again, DIY's kind of been not doing it. Not for me, but not doing it. It seems like they're not hitting it on the main roster like they would have on NXT. Hopefully that changes, because DIY is a great addition to the tag team division. Having Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa on your roster at all is a great addition to any roster, in my opinion. Here, we're once again back to the Judgment Day Lounge here, where Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio run into Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, or her just hanging out. Verbal exchange between the two here. They didn't really write down what they said here, but I feel like after Survivor Series, I feel like Shayna Baszler is going to be the next one in line to face Rhea, possibly at the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens there. We are backstage here because beforehand we found out that we're going to have a women's tag team #1 contenders match here, and Adam Pearce says all this stuff here. So it ended up being Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell versus Tegan Nox Natalya versus Kane Carter and Katana Chance versus Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. The winner of that match will take on Piper Niven and Chelsea Green for the tag team titles. I didn't really care very much about this match here. So near the end of the match here, I'm just going to read the end of the match here. Natalya slides back into the ring, locks a sharpshooter onto Katana Chance. Ivy Nile breaks up the hold with a bulldog to Natalya. Maxine tags herself in and delivers a pair of body slams to the now illegal Tegan Nox. Hits the caterpillar, and then follows that up with a Northern Lights suplex. Goes for a pin. Nox kicks out. Max Dupree then delivers a splash into the corner. Ivy Nile tags in and then tags back out to Dupree. The pair then deliver a double suplex to Tegan Nox ascends to the top rope, but Natalya was able to pull off Ivy Nile, and Maxine Dupree stays standing, looking to do a crossbody, but Tegan Nox was able to roll her up for the win, and Tegan Nox and Natalya will get a number one contenders match probably next week on. Well, who knows? We see Gunther backstage trying to catch up with Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. Gunther asks Kaiser to explain himself. Kaiser tells him that he told Giovanni Vinci to stay backstage. Gunther tells Kaiser that he never listens and says that he really thought Kaiser could uphold the prestige of Imperium. He applauds Vinci's efforts and then says that he thinks he put the wrong person in charge. He tells Kaiser to now watch how he handles the Miz in the ring here. So we got the Miz, Gunther here. A lot of people like the segment. I didn't really care that much about it because I just don't give a shit about the Miz. I love Gunther, but I'm just gonna go right where Gunther says here. Gunther says everyone thinks that he will be facing the Miz at Survivor Series, but he sees right through him and sees that he will be facing Mike Mizanin. Says that he says all his heroes bullied him to make him understand that he doesn't belong in a pro wrestling ring. Yada yada yada. Says he starts pushing Gunther. Gunther starts pushing Miz, and Miz gives in, hits the skull crushing finale and whatnot here. Holds the title, which means he's not winning the championship. I'm booking it. Gunther destroys and just squashes the Miz, and we never have to hear from this again. Shinsuke Nakamura, Chad Gable. This match was okay. Nakamura delivers a knee to the midsection of Chad Gable, who is draped over the top rope, or top turnbuckle. Follows it up with a flying knee off the middle turnbuckle, which is basically a Kinshasa. Gable manages to clinch an ankle lock. Nakamura escapes. Gable plants him with on the mat face first. He ascends to the top rope, hits a flying headbutt, then goes for a pin. Nakamura kicks out. Nakamura exposes the top turnbuckle, then sets up for a Kinshasa. Gable reverses into a German suplex, ascends to the top rope, looks for a moonsault. Nakamura gets the knees up, looks for a Kinshasa, but Gable was able to avoid it, turning it into an ankle lock. Nakamura escapes, looking to send Gable into the exposed turnbuckle. Gable catches himself, and then Nakamura rolls up Gable for the win. And no, we didn't get anything with Nakamura on the show. Nakamura had a promo back, an online promo saying, he's waiting. Who the fuck is he talking about? I don't know. At this point, I don't give a shit. It's starting to go into Aleister Black's Dark Room Fight Me promos, because if they don't actually have a plan for this, you wasted everybody's time with these promos, but that's just me. Drew McIntyre is getting ready to make his way to the ring for the Wargames advantage match here. As we head to the backstage here, we see Sami Zayn chatting up with Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. Zayn and Rollins say their ideas didn't pan out, but Cody reveals that his did, and the person he called did pick up, and he's in. So the main event was Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre. Didn't really care. The match was all right, but Drew McIntyre wins with the Future Shock DDT. After the match, McIntyre drags Jey out of the ring, clears off the announce table. He looks to see Jey crashing through the table as Rhea Ripley appears at ringside. Jey fights his way out and grabs a chair, but the rest of the Judgment Day blindsides him and attacks him. Cody, Sami, and Seth. Rollins, they run down to the ring here with chairs in his hand. They start beating each other up here. The Judgment Day and McIntyre retreat. Cody grabs the microphone and says he's glad that Judgment Day has the advantage. He says they found a fifth member of their team, someone that he has a legacy with. He's an apex predator. The crowd starts chanting for Randy Orton. Cody tells Judgment Day that they aren't hearing voices in their head, and because the crowd is right. And it was announced on social media that it will indeed be Randy Orton joining War Games. So, yeah. So that was Monday Night Raw. I thought Monday Night Raw overall was a great show. I thought the match between Becky Lynch and Xia Li was great stuff. Johnny Gargano and Ludwig Kaiser was pretty good here. The women's tag match was fine. Nakamura and Chad Gable was fine. I didn't give a shit about Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez, which is why I said Nia Jax wins, and I moved along. And I'm interested to see where this whole thing with Drew McIntyre goes. So, yeah. Do I think CM Punk is going to be at Survivor Series? No, I do not. I don't think he was ever going to be at Survivor Series at this point. If he does, cool. If he doesn't, whoop-de-fucking do. So, yeah. So I will see you guys back here for SmackDown, the go-home show for Friday Night SmackDown and Survivor Series, and we'll do the Survivor Series review on Saturday, the SmackDown review on Friday, and then the Pile Driver Pulse, obviously, on Sunday. The current card for Survivor Series as it stands here is The Miz challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Zoe Stark challenging Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Carlito will take on Santos Escobar. Bianca Belair, Shotzi, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch will take on Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane of Damage Control in Women's War Games. Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Randy Orton will take on the Judgment Day and Drew McIntyre inside of War Games. So, and that is your Raw review. Again, all of the links will be in the description down below on the YouTube version of this review. Audio, it's obviously just type in the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. That's all you got to do, and all that stuff here. I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. Until then, have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a safe Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys Friday for a SmackDown. We're out.